live yet. Pull up. Okay, we're live. All right, let's hit the recording. Import the cloud. Okay, good morning. And today we'll try to complete our speech. We have a Google document, and I'll share my screen so you can see. You might want to go to our classroom as well. Slow loading. Okay, our S4 class. We're going to classwork. And we are listening, reading, and writing a speech. And I'll share the link with you in case you want to go. Just chat it up. Okay. Yes, we can write a short story after we write the speech. So let's just finish the speech today. And then I think tomorrow we can try a short story. So thank you for whoever asked me that question. You might need to remind me too. Okay, so that's the Google Classroom. And we also were working on a Google Doc. Okay, so this is the Google Doc. And I think each of us has a page on our Google Doc. Okay. Good. So that's the link to the Google Doc. Now, let's go to the task. This is the question paper. I'm going to task 10 first. So we're writing a speech for the discussion on the current state of cinema using information from the B2 data file and notes. Write about 200 words. We looked at the task prompt. Then we looked at the instructions. And we found the instructions on the page immediately following the note-taking sheet. And the instructions are here. And then we went through different sources. So we went through, I'm going to make this a bit larger. Went through Film Talk Forum, page 5, and the WhatsApp group, and then the video conference notes. Okay. Now, question. Do you want to start writing now, or do you want to listen to the note-taking section? Do you want to start writing, or do you want to listen to the note-taking section? Okay, we're going to listen. I'm not sure how you might just want to take notes on your Google Doc, on your sheet. That is, just take your notes over here on your sheet. Okay, and then I'll play the audio recording. So this is 2019, paper 3B2. Okay. One moment, please. I'm going to find. Let's find the past papers. Okay, here we go. Three. Oh, the audio tracks. Give me one moment. I'll find it on YouTube. Let's find it on YouTube. Sorry about that. If anyone else can find it on YouTube, please share the link. Okay. So we are looking for HKDSE 2019 English paper 3. Okay.
Hong Kong Diploma of Secondary Education, 2019.
Second.
A bit more about Lord's poster design. Not great. Okay, well. The recording is about to begin.
Okay, good. I think this is it. I'm going to share this with you. Whoop. No, that's not it. It's not. Okay. There you go. Okay, so we're all going to listen. I'll play it from my laptop, and we can all take notes on our Google Sheets. Let's give it a shot.
Turn to page 3 of the data file. Hi there, Ringo. Hi, Myra. Hi. Okay, well, I thought we should follow up on the committee meeting we had last week. You know, just to see where we are at as regards the Visual Media Festival. Okay, yeah. I think we need to discuss both parts. The Youth by Youth short video competition and the screening of the film The Electronic Durian.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so let's start with the Youth by Youth short video competition.
Okay, right.
The entries for the short video competition? How are the entries coming along?
Not great. We've only had 3 entries so far.
Oh,
Yeah, as we said in the committee meeting, Maud needs to change the design of the poster to try to encourage more entries.
yes. I was thinking a bit more about Maud's poster design. I noticed that the website is on the poster, but it's the wrong one.
Really?
Yes, we changed the URL, remember?
Oh, yes. Is it still the old one on the poster?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice. Can you give it to me again? Nico will need it to tell Maud.
It's www.isvms.hk.
Okay, just to make sure, it's www.isvms.hk, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And something else I just thought of. Did Maud put a QR code on the poster?
Sorry?
Did she put a QR code on the poster?
The QR code? I don't know. I'll need to check.
Well, make sure the QR code's on the bottom left-hand corner of the poster.
Sure, I'll make a note of that. Bottom left-hand corner.
Now, you say only 3 people have entered the competition so far?
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. Actually, I was wondering whether we should extend the deadline to the 13th of May.
You want to extend the deadline to the 13th of May? Are you sure? But isn't 13 an unlucky number?
Don't be so superstitious.
Okay, let's go with the 13th then. We will have to change it on the poster as well.
Okay.
Anyway, bad stuff does happen on the 13th. Isabel Luna, the director of the Electronic Durian?
Yeah?
Well, she had her skateboarding accident on the 13th.
Well, there you go then.
Right. Let's move on to the next thing. The Bright House Cinema. As you will remember from the meeting last week, the committee are still keen for us to choose the Bright House for the screening. And Alia is going to do a site visit of Bright House Cinema tomorrow.
Sorry, wait. You say that Isabel Luna's had an accident? That's the first I've heard. I mean, does it mean she won't be able to come to the screening?
No. She's still coming to the screening. But it was quite serious, I think. I mean, she's in a wheelchair.
Really? And will that be a problem for the Bright House? The wheelchair, I mean.
Yes, well, that's what we will find out from Alia's report on her site visit. And that's why we stipulated wheelchair access to the stage in the venue requirements.
Oh, yeah. I did wonder why we put that. Yeah, well, obviously, if she's in a wheelchair, we will need a ramp to get her onto the stage for the discussion after the screening. I mean, the Bright House is a terrible cinema.
Yes, you don't need to tell me. And there's something else that I'm worried about that we didn't discuss in the committee meeting.
What's that then?
Well, you remember that the big thing about the screening of the Electronic Durian is that the audience will be wearing those 3D headsets?
Yeah.
So it will be critical on the night that handing out the 3D headsets to the audience is done quickly. Otherwise, it will take far too long and it'll delay everything.
Yeah, otherwise it could end up being a nightmare. I'd say we'll need at least 10 ushers.
Yes, that's what I thought. At least 10 ushers. I talked to Alia and she'll find out how many ushers Bright House has when she does the site visit tomorrow. And I'm sure it won't be 10.
Yeah.
And there's another thing that I'm worried about at the Bright House, to do with the noodles.
What do you mean noodles?
Well, you remember that we decided that we're going to bring noodles to give out to the audience to eat during the showing of the Electronic Durian. In the metal noodles scene.
Yeah, the metal noodles scene.
Yeah, well, I'm now worried that the Bright House won't let us. I've told Alia to ask the manager at the Bright House tomorrow if we will be allowed to bring in outside food.
I can imagine what they'll say.
Yeah, I know. The noodles are supposed to be one of our key fun elements of the evening. Having all these people eat noodles while watching the metal noodle scene, I still think it'll be hilarious. All these people trying to eat noodles with their 3D headsets on.
I agree. It would be a big loss for the whole event if they don't let us.
Well, let's wait and see what they say.
Yeah, right. Moving on. The other thing that we need to discuss is the prize-giving ceremony. Is there any news on the venue for the prize-giving ceremony?
The prize-giving ceremony? Oh, yes. I just got confirmation today. We got the Cultural Plaza in Central.
Oh, great. So we got the Cultural Plaza after all. I always said the Cultural Plaza was the best choice. It's an amazing venue, and the location, I mean, Central's such a convenient location compared to the other ones. And the date? Has a date been finalized?
Yes, it's Saturday, June the 22nd.
Wait a second. Let me just note that down. When was that?
June the 22nd.
Okay. And the time? When will it start?
Let me check. 7:30.
Okay, 7:30. Right.
Anything else that we need to discuss?
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to bring up was the introductory speech. You know, the one on the current state of cinema.
Oh, yeah. The one that Nico will give to introduce the discussion.
Yeah. I think Nico's struggling a bit for ideas, to tell you the truth.
Well, I think talk about two things. Film viewing habits. I mean, whether people watch films at home or go to the cinema nowadays, and also talk about low-budget films compared to, like, blockbusters.
Right. Yeah, that sounds good. So, what could Nico say about watching films at home or at the cinema?
Well, you remember that I went to the screening of The Electronic Durian the other night?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking, these 3D headsets, you know, those 360-degree headsets?
The Janus ones?
Exactly. Well, they are absolutely fantastic and everything, but it struck me. I could have exactly the same experience sitting at home in my living room on my sofa and...
Never need to go to the cinema. Yeah, I thought that as well.
There's no point going to the cinema. Just stay at home.
Okay. And what could Nico say about low-budget films and blockbusters?
Well, I was thinking, in the last decade or so, big studios have tended to focus more and more of their resources on making expensive blockbusters for the cinema, so that they
can make bigger profits.
Exactly. Because a studio knows that if it puts all its energy into making one successful blockbuster, like Star Wars or a Marvel superhero film, the bottom line is it'll make bigger profits.
Yeah, I know.
And these blockbusters, the studios launch absolutely enormous multi-million-dollar advertising and marketing campaigns. And small low-budget filmmakers simply cannot compete with all that.
Yeah, I know.
If Nico could say all that in the introductory speech and maybe add something a bit more optimistic as well, so it's not all doom and gloom, that would be great.
Yeah, okay. I'll pass on your message.
That is the end of the listening component of this paper. You will now have 1 hour and 15 minutes to complete the written task in either part B1 or part B2. An announcement will be made when time is up. Take off your earphones now and turn off the radio. The listening component is about to begin. Keep your earphones on until you
Any questions? I don't think these sections, the first 3 sections, are necessary. Just forget about that. These things aren't very important. It's task 10 here that we need to focus on. And so hopefully you have more of a structure now. Okay. Say it one more time. We took a lot of notes, but I don't think these things are necessary. Not necessary. It was only the notes that we took for the introductory speech that are necessary. And we see a structure now. So the 2 main things that we can talk about are film viewing habits. Specifically, do people watch films at home or at cinema? And low budget films versus blockbusters. Now remember, when you start writing, the structure of a speech, there should be some kind of introduction. So we might need to introduce ourselves and recognize the audience and introduce what we're going to talk about. And there should be a conclusion. So I would expect 4 paragraphs. I'll say it again. I would expect 4 paragraphs for the speech. We have about 32 minutes, and I'm going to make this disappear and start structuring my speech. So if we take a look at my outline, we have different sources that we can refer to. We have content that we can talk about. And now we have the structure. And I think it's a good idea to, 1, write your topic sentences, 2, write the body paragraphs, then 3, write the introduction and the conclusion. So now, I'm just going to do that. Write your topic sentences. Write the body paragraphs. And write the introduction and all right. Any questions? I will do this too. Let's get started. This should take you no more than 20 minutes. On the public exam, you will maybe not even have 20 minutes. Nancy Benson, got that. Harmon, Bobby. Kaylee, Andy, Mo, Nancy, Chloe. Nancy, do you have a page? Andy, Henry, Bobby. I will make a page for you, Nancy. You will be page 12. Nancy. Okay. It's for you, Nancy. Let's write some topic sentences. Remember, you're speaking to an audience. This is a speech to people before, I think it's before they watch a movie. Or is it after? First, I would like to deliver some remarks. Remarks about film viewing habits. Specifically, the differences in watching films at home and at the cinema. Okay, one thing. Okay. Now, I would like to talk about types of films. Specifically, the differences between low budget films and blockbusters. Okay, so I have some topic sentences now, and then I will dump the information that we looked at or found in the sources. I'll write my body paragraphs. Now, this isn't all the necessary information. So what we found on these pages are not the complete model answers. There's more information for you to include in your speech from these sources. But I'm just going to use what's on my page right now. I'm going to change this a bit too. Virtual reality. Is enabled. Fantastic. Virtuality has become cheaper. Available. Use. At the cinema. Virtual reality enables people to live the movie through a full 3D 60-degree experience. It's enabled wear headsets. Headsets such as the Janus VR 60 headset system to access virtual reality. Since VR technology has become cheaper, launch virtual reality. Headsets and at the cinema. Of course, one difference. Of course, one difference. Viewing at home at the cinema. That people or not not. Person watches and to go to cinemas to share experiences with other people. Doesn't necessarily overlap. Okay, so I've written one body paragraph first talking about virtual reality at home and at a cinema. I introduced the idea of virtual reality and how we do it and an example. Any questions? So I'm going to check my work. First, I would like to deliver some remarks about film viewing habits, specifically at home and at the cinema. These days, virtual reality has enabled people to live a movie through a full days at home and at the cinema. The movie through full that's reality. Individuals and cinemas access purchase of technology. Of course, whether or not a person uses VR, one difference between filming at home and at cinema is that people tend to go to cinemas to share experience with others, enable that shared experience. Okay, now I'd like to talk about films, types of films, specific differences between low budget films and big budget blockbusters. Big studios focus resources on big blockbusters such as Marvel movies and Star Wars, or big marketing budgets for big profits. Low budget films cannot compete like that. So I'm actually missing something optimistic. What is something optimistic about low budget films? Therefore, low budget films value provide value for marketing. So I'm looking right now, I'm going to look very quickly to find something about something optimistic that is a good thing, a good word to say about low budget films. I'm going to go to page 5 and pages 10 and 11. if you're interested, I'm not going to include this in my speech, but if you want full marks, I suspect you're going to need to include something about Netflix, that TV is going to destroy cinema. So you might want to talk about that, the benefits of watching TV or watching movies at home through Netflix. That's something you might want to include. But I want to find something else. This is what I want to find. Innovation. Explore. Safe. So optimistically, there's a lot of experimentation. So I'm going to write that down. For the creativity, actually. Creativity. Technologies. Big budget blockbusters. Safe. Low budget films. Can clearly explore new experiences such as VR. Freedom. Budget films. Try doing horror or new experiences such as VR. Okay. So I have something a little positive there. If you're interested, going back to the sources, something that might be very, very important to include is, where is it? Is the interview. So the interview from Plato's Cave Film Magazine, pages 8 and 9, contain a lot of valuable information on big studios and low budget films. So if you want full marks for content, you'll definitely need to include information from pages 8 and 9. I'll write that down on my source sheet. Interview on pages 8 and 9. Interview pages 8 and 9. Okay. Now I'm going to write the introduction, and I'm going to base it on the prompt. Discussion, which will take place. Okay, so this is a little confusing. It's important to know the time, boys and girls. We're giving the speech before the discussion, but after everyone sees the movie. Okay. So there's just a few things we want to introduce. I'll say it again. It's important to know when the speech takes place, also who we're talking to, and yeah, that will be helpful for writing the introduction. Hello. Good evening. Just a very kind of informal good evening. Did you enjoy the movie? Before we begin the discussion about that movie, the noodles. Movie, I would like to deliver a few remarks. There are some thoughts about the current state of cinema. My aim is to orient us. My aim is to orient us towards recognize what recognize our achievements, recent achievements. Orient us towards the future. Okay, so there we go. So I have this kind of chatty beginning. It's arguable if it's necessary, but I do recognize the time and the theme. Which means focusing on things in the past and focusing on things in the future. Current film viewing habits. Okay, I'm going to write a conclusion now. Okay, so now I'm going to say something optimistic. And let me go back to the introduction. Okay. The current state of cinema appears robust and healthy. To conclude, the current state of cinema appears robust and healthy. Your presence at this movie is indicative of this. Is indicative of this. That is, because the audience is there, it proves that cinema is healthy. We have the technology, the big budgets, technology, and creativity. Cinema home for. For any kind of budget. Films of any budget. Films of any budget. To be enjoyed at home, at the cinema, and at the cinema. Thank you. Okay. So I want to see how many words I wrote. So I think I wrote too many. I need to write about 200 words. Oh, I wrote 50% more than I needed to write. I want to cut down on some things. Okay, I'm going to really cut down the introduction. Current state of cinema. First. It's about viewing films at home and at the cinema. Films at home. Let's see, virtual reality. Now, this isn't a good sentence because I need to introduce something. First, I'd like to deliver some remarks about viewing films. Dr. Wu's a bit unhappy about the structuring of the sentence. My aim is to write 200 words. I want to get rid of a third of my words. I'm trying to be as concise as possible. First. In terms of film viewing habits and the controversy, budget, blockbusters, First, virtual reality has changed the way we view films, home, and at cinema. It is a technology for people to live. It is an increasingly cheap and accessible technology by which people can live remotely. People. And the full experience. So people wear headsets. Do so. People wear headsets. Okay. Cheap technology. Same time. Second. People are increasingly watching films at home because of services such as same time. At the same time, people still go to cinemas. Still go to cinemas to share experiences with others. Okay, good. About low budget films, low budget blockbusters, studios. Major huge financial resources. They tend to play it safe. They tend to play it safe. Safe for big profits. On the other hand, budget films are valuable because of their creativity and technology use. Such as VR use. At the same time, low budget are a necessary platform for directors to become tomorrow's big budget filmmakers. Include robust and healthy. Okay, let's see how many words this is. Good, we did it. 208 words. Okay, any questions? I don't see a lot of speech here. Oh. Gee. Okay. Well, I'm available for any questions. At the same time, I'm thankful that you guys showed up today. I'm very proud of you. Writing a speech is not easy. Doing an HKDSE paper is not easy. And also doing part B2 of an HKDSE paper is not easy at all. It's very difficult. So I thank you for dialing in. Thank you for showing up. I'm very proud of you. I think we'll try something a little different the next time we meet. And I think someone wanted to write a short story. Now, my question to you is how short you want it to be, because we can do the same task that my Form 2 students did in writing an animal story. Otherwise, we can do what we're supposed to do in the curriculum. But anyway, okay, so again, any questions? That's actually we're scheduled to have a Zoom lesson tomorrow at 11:30. And we'll start writing a short story. That's about it. So tomorrow, 11:30, short story writing. If you don't have any questions, have a good afternoon and God bless you. Bless you. Thanks for coming. Okay.